Hey guys, so we're gonna discuss a couple topics today, but they're both intertwined, both interrelated. So I thought I could easily connect them together in this video. So now the first topic is going to be about the etheric body, and then we'll see how that ties into uh, the work of Socrates and Plato, because I believe it was Socrates who first described it. It's called Plato's Cave. Okay, so that allegory, if you guys haven't heard it yet, which I will explain exactly all the details about it later. So let's tap into some inner knowledge. I haven't said that intro in a while. But okay, now upon death, the etheric body is what we would first enter into, okay, because it goes physical body, etheric body, astral body, which is all the emotions, lower mental body, which is soul, higher mental body, which is higher self, and then you get the spirit, I believe. I may be missing a step, but these are mainly the bodies that are there. Now, the etheric body and the physical body are very interrelated. They're all interrelated. They're all connected by some component. But the etheric body is like the template of the physical body. Now, I thought that was actually the astral body, and I thought the astral body is the one that is heavily affected. But upon further research, it may actually be the etheric body, which I was connecting all the dots, because we've heard of these things as etheric implants. Well, that's only possible in the etheric body. That's where the level of reality is heavily manipulated from. Okay, the astrals are, in the sense, providing emotional energy, or are also extracting emotional energy, whereas the ether, right, the fifth element out of which the four elements come out of, that's where the templates are held, and that's where the implants can also be made, which directly affect the etheric body, which directly affect the physical body, right? If you've ever seen a Chinese medicine practitioner, they can tell you, hey, they can see your aura, because again, the aura is also the etheric body. And they'll say, hey, in your aura you have these blockages. These things aren't flowing, because the etheric body is all flowing. It's all connected, right? And each body part, each organ is represented etherically. So there's an etheric brain, etheric heart, right? An etheric liver, kidney, whatever, and the etheric body as a whole, but they're not separated as we have them here. They are all connected, right? So it's all flowing. And in a sense, there's much more freedom in that regard. So they'll say, hey, they can give you a couple taps on the back or whatever, however they do it, and all of a sudden that shifts your aura, that shifts your etheric template, and you immediately start seeing the results in the physical. Now, the ancient pharaohs of ancient Egypt / Kemet, and many other practitioners like saints, gurus, sages, but the pharaoh specifically, would mummify their body. Now, why would they do that? Why would they want to preserve a physical body when we see so many others just burying it or whatever, taking the body? Sometimes it dies in tragic accidents, cremating the body even. And I thought, okay, in order to alleviate myself of all attachment here, cremation would be the best idea. Well, you'll see why in a second. That may not be the best option. So the physical body is preserved through mummification, or even some of these elites freezing the body. We may have heard that, right? Preserving the body, essentially preserving the physical. Because when you die, the body takes about, after burial, 40 days to disintegrate. 40 physical days. Now, who knows how long that is etherically? Okay. During this time period, you are maintaining your etheric brain, which is acting again here like a decoder of reality, but also storing information, storing memories. Okay. Now, this is essentially what will get wiped. Well, actually, the astral body will get wiped because the memories are also held in terms of emotions. Yet, in the etheric plane, you are still able to manifest, you are still able to think, to imagine, to use that creative power to logically perceive things, because you are connected to that etheric, to that physical brain. And the etheric brain is still there, it has not dissolved. So in that period of 40 days, or much longer, if your body is preserved like the ancient pharaohs used to do, you are then able to affect reality on earth from that template, because you have access. You have access, you have a connection, you have a link back to this realm, and that's how these beings would then perform miracles. Right? When someone heals someone, like I said with the Chinese medicine practitioner, they're tapping into their own etheric body, or they're tapping into the person's etheric body, and they can see the aura, and they can see what's wrong with it. And from that level of reality, you can then branch off and basically explore or have some sort of objective in these higher planes, okay? Whereas after disintegration, you become basically a zombie, right? We've seen that the goal in these higher planes is to, again, keep you working, keep you distracted, keep you focused, keep you part of the energy extraction matrix. Up there, they still have you working for a job. They still have you working for money. They give you credits for karma or whatever. But the main deception is, oh, you didn't learn enough. You got to go all the way back down to earth. You have to become a physical slave. Whereas up there, potentially, it's more controlled. You have less freedom. You have less ability to even think. Because again, the astral body is a culmination of emotions. And all the demons, whether positive or negative in terms of emotions, that you've been entertaining, once the physical body is gone, they will begin to feast on those emotions. They will pull all those out of you because they've lost their source of food. So they'll have one final meal, and then off you go back into the mind wipe, and then back into the reincarnation wheel, samsara. But up until that point, you have an opportunity, because let's say you achieve gnosis down here, your physical brain was able to tap into a higher sense of knowledge, your higher self, or even the soul, but more than likely the higher self. You started realizing certain things here. You started getting the picture. Now you formed this picture. You've created these belief systems in your etheric template. As long as that etheric template is connected to the physical, the etheric template will be there. It will not dissolve, okay, because the physical has not dissolved. And then you can access that information. And now you have an idea, okay, I need to leave this realm, or these realms, this energy extraction matrix. Surely you will be able to tap into the information that you accumulated, so that you can then imagine or intend a way to your higher self, a way to source. Now in the book, Can You Stand the Truth? It describes the idea of connecting to the point in time when Christ came, because then is when the gates were open. Then is when the energetic barrier of the flame that was created by Lucifer, the demiurge, to prevent souls from now leaving, or divine sparks from leaving the tree of good and evil, the forbidden tree. The fencing was put around it. But at that point in time, where all these timelines converge to this exiting of potentially sparks, when that point in time when Christ came, a barrier was opened. A hole was created in that barrier. And that hole is still there, but it's incredibly difficult to find, potentially, right? It more than likely was hidden. Yet at that point in time, using your etheric mind, now this is an option. This may not be the only option. You can tap into, hey, that idea, okay, Christ was sacrificed during this time. Let me intend to be during that time. And supposedly there are, groups of beings, groups of higher selves that are now waiting to exit that gate of the energetic barrier at that specific time. And they may not have to wait because everything is happening at the same time. So you are experiencing the slow time dilation currently, whereas at that point in time, it's already happening. So right now it could already be happening. It's just happening much slower to you in their moments, whereas for them it's happening instantaneously. So that's an idea. That's potentially a way out of this matrix in which you are able to freely leave this energetic barrier. But again, there's a discrepancy, because in order to pass this energetic barrier, you have to be of spirit. You cannot be attached to your lower nature. You cannot be entertaining all these demons, essentially, entertaining any attachments to earth. You may still have that energetic component part of your body, but potentially this gate, this hole, allows you to leave without fully absolving that last energy component of Lucifer. Okay, because Lucifer is that flame. And now it's connected to the Plato's cave allegory, Plato being potentially an allusion to Pluto. And what do we have at the center of our solar system? What flame? The sun. The sun, the light of the world. That's why they made Jesus the light of the world. The sun may actually be another allusion to Lucifer. It's a flame. It's considered a flame. It's also a portal, potentially. But that flame is giving life and energy and heat to all these other planets. Yet Pluto is the farthest one away. Pluto is also equal to Hades in Gematria, directly equal to Hades in many ciphers. Pluto is on the outskirts and the furthest away, right? So you enter Pluto's cave, you're entering hell. You're entering the flame. The closer you get to the flame, the warmer you get, the better it feels. Now, this is a fiery realm. Hell is fiery. But hell, also equal to Pluto, also equal to Hades, can also be cold. We've seen this idea portrayed in Norse mythology, with Helheim being frozen over. Inferno actually derives from the word invierno. Invierno meaning winter. Again, the idea of there being cold. It's a polarity, it's a duality. There is hot and cold here. There is good and evil. It's the tree of duality, of good and evil, right? So, that flame, like we see in Lord of the Rings with the Eye of Sauron. Plato's cave starts with Socrates describing prisoners chained to a wall by their necks and by their chains. And it's very similar how the chain, the links to a chain, if you look at them, they form an infinity sign, similar to the Ouroboros. Now they're there. We don't know how they got there, but they're chained to the back of a wall. Behind that wall is a flame, a fire. And in front of that fire, there are moving, we could call them pictures. We could call them templates. They're not actual objects though. They're just moving ideas. And those pictures, those templates, then cause a shadow reflection on the wall. Now this is exactly similar to how this universe is projected. Remember what we talked about in the black hole idea? An object falls into it and its code is maintained on the surface. That code is then projected downwards. It's not the actual object, it's a hologram. So the men chained to the wall, all they can see are the shadows. And they may get good at it. They may develop a sixth sense in which they begin to predict the shadows on the wall. Finally, one man steps out, is able to free themselves, and they see the fire, and they see how everything is an illusion. And to make their way out of the cave, they have to go further away from that fire, further away from the false light of the demiurge, of Lucifer, into the darkness where they cannot see until they reach the end of the tunnel, the end of the cave, and they step outside. But that light is so blinding that they have to take it slowly. You cannot go from darkness and twilight, actually, to intense light of the sun. You may have to close your eyes or look at reflections even at first, or other shadows, which shouldn't really exist in the hyper universes and the real worlds. There shouldn't be shadows, but you would have to take it slowly, is the point I'm getting to, right? Otherwise you'd be blinded. And it's very similar potentially to how our spirit has been contained in these energetic bodies. It would have to be a slow process of disintegration and alleviation of those prisons, essentially, to then merge back into the true world. It's kind of like coming out of a simulation. You've been in that simulation for so long, you've gotten used to that digital body. Now coming back to your real body, you have to be like, okay, let me take it slow. I can't just go, run a marathon right now because my joints are aching. They haven't moved potentially. I need to get used to again to my body. So we can see how these shadows are similar to the illusions that we see in the world. And you may think, oh, well, they are real. The people there are real. No, even they are not real. Even they are a projection. Although that is not mentioned in Plato's cave. But them being in that cave is as much of a projection as the shadows they see on the wall. The flame being, again, illusory to Lucifer, the demiurge, the false light being used to project everything. And many New Agers will come to the idea of this blue flame, right? Like I talked about, all these archangels using a specific flame. That's because the demiurge assigned specific colors of that flame to every archangel for the gifts of power, but also healing, also benefiting humanity or lower beings in terms of healing their bodies or healing something to that effect, or generating false positivity, right? Because it's just prolonging the trap, really. It's not necessarily doing them any good by revealing truth to them, right? If I heal your body, you're still stuck in that body. Although it may feel a lot better now, of course, which is good, but at the end of the day, you still don't know the truth, right? So there can be good done with that. But they use it against you. When you tap into that flame, when you're working with Archangel Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, whatever, whichever one of these beings you want to work with, you're tapping into the Luciferic energy that they use to manifest this matrix, that they use to alter your reality, that they use to prolong the fight against good and evil, right? There's no fight. It's the illusion. What are they fighting? What are you fighting for? And we see that with the Lord of the Rings, the Eye of Sauron. It's in this giant flame, this eye in a giant flame that is watching everything. And it's all fire, it's all twilight, it's all part of this reality, that how it was created. It was a false light creating a flame. And then you can use your etheric body, your etheric template, to potentially get you to points in time here in this reality in which that barrier created out of this flame is not as hot, right? Is open, is subsided potentially. But now we see why the idea of cremation is not good, because if you were to cremate your body, all of that knowledge, all of your information, your connection to your etheric mind would then be severed instantaneously. So that's why it's very important to take care of your body, to make sure if that's as much as possible as you can make it, to have some sort of easy death, to have someone take measures to protect your body, right? Maybe even mummify it, but at least protect it, at least give it a proper burial, so that you have that period of 40 days, at least, right? To figure out, hey, where the heck am I? What am I doing? How do I get out of here? What is this place? And you have that when you're still able to decode information. But when you're not able to decode information, when your mind is severed, when you don't have a connection to your higher self, then you become a slave. Then you become at someone else's mercy. You become a slave to your own emotional desires that you still may have, right? That's when the astral body takes over. Okay, I think that's enough information. I hope that made sense. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.